Welcome, culinary enthusiasts, to this masterclass explainer. Today, we're putting on our pastry chef hats and stepping right into the professional kitchen. We're moving way, way past that basic scoop in a bowl. Our ultimate goal? To transform simple, everyday desserts into complex, artisanal creations. By taking a really close look at the specific chemistry, the flavor profiles, and the precise preparation methods, we're going to elevate your ice cream game to an entirely new level of sophistication. And listen, if you've ever stood on the line in a professional kitchen, you know that true culinary artistry isn't just about casually throwing ingredients into a bowl. It requires deep understanding and, honestly, absolute precision. Every single gram, every second, and every degree matters. Okay, let's dive into this and look at our syllabus for today. We'll start with our Welcome to the Masterclass, move into Mastering Bases and Allergens, cover alcohol and botanical infusions, explore unconventional flavor pairings, and wrap up with artisanal serving vessels. Section 1. Welcome to the Masterclass. Section 2, Mastering Bases and Allergens. This is where we focus on structure and how to properly handle common allergens, specifically the heavy dairy and large eggs that act as absolute crucial stabilizers in any premium ice cream. So let's contrast two totally different preparation methods. On one hand, we have the highly intricate, heated preparation of a cooked custard base, just like the one used for rum raisin. Now, this requires cooking milk, tempering eggs, and seriously careful temperature control. It's a bit of a process. But on the other hand, we have the simple, direct mixing of a no-cook base, like the rose recipe. For the rose base, you literally just combine 6½ cups of heavy cream, 2 teaspoons of rose water, your sugar, a pinch of salt, and a dash of food coloring. You mix it thoroughly and freeze it. That's it. It's simple, fast, and reliant purely on the rich fat content of the cream itself. But let's get back to the cooked method. When we're preparing that rum raisin base, we kick things off by gently warming 1 cup of milk in a saucepan. Separately, we beat 2 large eggs and half a cup of refined sugar in a mixing bowl. Then comes an absolutely vital safety protocol: tempering. You have to gradually stream that warmed milk into the eggs while beating continuously. If you just dump the hot milk straight in, bam, you'll instantly scramble the egg proteins and, well, your base is totally ruined. Once you've safely tempered the eggs, you pour the whole mixture back into the saucepan to heat gently until it thickens. So the crucial point is, stir constantly, and whatever you do, don't boil the mixture. If it hits a rolling boil, the custard breaks, turns completely grainy, and you have to start the whole shebang all over again. Conversely, if your mixture is looking overly thin, don't panic. Just keep heating it gently and stirring constantly until it visibly coats the back of your spoon. In a pastry kitchen, precision is quite literally everything. Now, after successfully thickening the base, your temperature control has to go in the exact opposite direction. You must thoroughly cool that thickened base before adding your 2 cups of cream. Then, refrigerate the whole thing until it is completely chilled. Guys, this cooling step is non-negotiable. If you pour a warm base into an ice cream maker, it simply won't churn properly. It's a guaranteed flop. Section 3, Alcohol and Botanical Infusions. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the wild contrast in ingredient ratios. Notice how the dairy base is specifically chosen to balance the aromatics. For the rose recipe, we're using a massive 6½ cups of sweet heavy cream and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Why? To perfectly balance just 2 tiny teaspoons of highly potent floral rose water. Meanwhile, the saffron recipe uses a much lighter dairy base, just 1½ cups of half and half, with 1/3 cup of sugar, which allows just half a gram of brandy-infused saffron to truly shine through. And a quick chef's tip: if you're ever scaling these batch recipes for larger groups, always multiply your aromatics super cautiously. Botanicals can easily overpower the dairy if you just double them blindly. And, extracting those complex flavors requires totally different techniques, too. Contrast the rum raisin soak with the saffron brandy infusion. For rum raisin, we cover 3/4 of a cup of raisins and half a cup of rum and let it stand overnight. We're talking a long, slow absorption here. But for the saffron recipe, we cover half a gram of finely chopped saffron threads with brandy for just a focused 1-hour infusion. That short window is all it takes to draw out that luxurious color and intense flavor impact. Speaking of the saffron recipe, let's talk about absolute kitchen precision for a second. The number 45 is vital here.
You are explicitly instructed to boil the single large egg for this recipe for exactly 45 seconds. Not 40, not 50, exactly 45 seconds, before combining it with the half and half, sugar, and that saffron brandy mixture to chill for 30 minutes. It's exactly that level of exacting detail that separates homemade from a true artisanal product.
Section 4. Unconventional flavor pairings. Getting creative with dynamic ingredients. Take the sweet banana pepper ice cream, for example. We start with a classic old-time vanilla recipe, and then, get this, we add 2 to 3 seeded, finely chopped sweet banana peppers straight into the base mixture. You refrigerate this mixture for 4 hours or more before freezing. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth does this work? Well, the subtle, sweet heat of the fresh banana peppers dynamically cuts right through the heavy richness of the vanilla base. It creates an incredibly balanced, totally unexpected, and complex flavor profile, a real game changer. Or consider pairing right fresh citrus flavors with a creamy vanilla base to create our tropical orange recipe. We rinse and slice fresh oranges right in half, clean out all the pulp, and squeeze out the juice, saving exactly half a cup of strained juice. Then, we take that same old-time vanilla recipe, completely omit the brown sugar, and instead add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar along with that saved fresh orange juice. Again, this whole mixture refrigerates for 4 hours before hitting the ice cream maker.
Section 5. Artisanal serving vessels. The final touch.
Remember those oranges we just juiced? Yeah, we definitely don't throw the peels away. We freeze those clean orange shells for 4 hours. When the tropical orange ice cream is finally done churning, we use this beautiful visual technique. Carefully stack rounded scoops of the finished ice cream high inside the frozen shells, creating a really appealing domed look. Then, enclose the two halves together and place them back inside the freezer to harden. You've just created a stunning, natural, and entirely edible serving vessel. Talk about presentation. But honestly, perhaps the ultimate artisanal accompaniment to any ice cream is a fresh, crispy, homemade waffle cone. The ingredient list here is incredibly precise. 2 large, lightly beaten eggs, half a cup of refined sugar, 2/3 of a cup of melted and cooled butter, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and 3/4 of a cup of flour. Let's move to and see how this builds together into the perfect batter. First, you beat the eggs and sugar really well, mix in your cooled butter and vanilla, and finally add the flour to complete the batter. Next, you generously spray a pizzella iron with non-stick vegetable oil and let it preheat. Spoon about 2 tablespoons of batter onto the iron, and then comes the absolute crucial molding step. You must form it into a cone shape while it's still warm right off the iron. Let it cool, and it locks into that classic, crispy structure. And this brilliantly illustrates how our magic number appears yet again in our masterclass. The pizzelle batter must cook for exactly 45 seconds. 45 seconds ensures it is perfectly golden but not very brown. It's that precise, exact timing that guarantees the perfect crunch to accompany your rich, infused ice creams. From tempering egg-heavy custards without boiling them, to perfectly balancing potent saffron and rose botanicals, to pairing rich vanilla with sweet banana peppers and rolling perfect 45-second waffle cones, you now have the absolute professional foundations. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Which artisanal technique will you master in your kitchen next? Grab your whisk, watch your temperatures closely, and start creating. Thanks for joining this explainer. We'll see you next time.